Yo, what's good? Episode 193, Stash House Podcast. Your boy Tyler checking in. First time listeners, thank y'all for tuning in. If you tune in weekly, salute. And just an episode, saw some topics you may want to hear about. Salute to you as well. Like, share, subscribe, retweet, whatever you do to help support the podcast. I greatly appreciate it. All streaming platforms, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor app, YouTube. Make sure you guys subscribe, leave comments, leave reviews. Appreciate all the feedback. Once again, thank y'all for tuning in. This episode is the 2022 wrap-up episode. This is not the last episode of the year, though. I will be dropping again next week. But just to let y'all know, just a quick spoiler alert. I said I was going to stop doing this in terms of, next week. Look forward to this and look forward to that. But next week, I'm coming in here all business. All business, what you mean by that, Tyler? All business. Ohio State, we snuck into the playoffs. We will face Georgia New Year's Eve. So thanks for all the invites, all the texts, all the whatever, New Year's Eve bash. Let's bring in 2023 this way, whoop-de-whoop. Tyler will be at his house watching Ohio State versus Georgia. Next week, all business. Don't hit me about no bets if you're not a Georgia. Well, even if you are a Georgia fan, because y'all been quiet to me all year. Y'all know I'm Ohio State. So when I get my prediction this week, don't say, oh, Tyler, you tripping, whoop-de-whoop. Listen, I just talked to Ryan Day. I've been leaving comments to CJ Stroud on Instagram. Next week, I'm coming in here on all business. And I'm going to talk about the SZA album probably too, by the way. But just say, look forward next week, Ohio State, Georgia, college football playoffs. Shout out to Troy University. They won the Cure Bowl over the weekend. They defeated UTSA. Shout out to Troy University. Next week, Ohio State, all business. So this is 2022 wrap-up, just the way scheduling go and all that. So I'm going to give y'all my favorite albums this week. 20 of my favorite albums of the year. The first 10 would be my honorable mention, just albums that I enjoyed, but they just didn't make my top 10. And the next 10 would be, my favorite albums, the albums I've been having in rotation throughout the year. I will post these on my podcast pages, Twitter, and Facebook. And then when I post that, y'all can let me know what albums y'all been having in rotation throughout the year. Me personally, I've been saying it time and time again for the past couple of years. We in this space in music where, hey, man, you like what you like. I can't judge nobody what they like. I don't want nobody to judge me on what I like. Whatever your vibe is, that's your vibe. I can speak for me and me only when I say, the people who I listen to, they've been providing some great albums. Y'all know I'm not song guy. A song or two, that's cool, but I'm more of an album guy. You know what I'm saying? Press play, let the album ride. I come back with my opinion on the album. A song or two do not move Tyler. I listen to full albums, straight, all the way through. And I know when the album very, very good when I can just listen to that shit on shuffle. If you get to the point where I can just go to the album and hit shuffle, that's how I know the album is great. So I'm going to give everybody a chance, hit me up. What albums y'all been listening to, what albums I probably slept on, whatever. Put me on some new music, albums I probably never got to. Y'all know how I rock. I don't judge people. I don't want nobody to judge me on my music. But in terms of what I listen to, I'm about to give y'all that right now. Music is opinionated. Music for everybody. It's something out there for everybody. Don't get it twisted. It's something out there for everybody. If in 2022 you can't come up with 5-10 albums that you like, this is a great album, or this album I enjoyed personally, then I can't help you. It's something out there for everybody. So, it is what it is on that part. So let's get to it, man. My first 10, this is my honorable mention. These are albums I have listened to throughout the year, but just didn't crack my top 10. So let's get to it. First, we have Baby Ray, Face album. Not the album he just dropped. He just dropped his Mob album, which is a good album too, by the way. But this Face album came out towards the beginning of the year. Great project. I've been having it on repeat. One of my favorite songs from this album is the Cushion Codeine with him and Wiz. He has some great songs on this album. It's called Face, Babyface Ray. Shout out to Babyface Ray. He's one of these guys that a lot of people seem to enjoy. He just, you know what I'm saying? Once again, another authentic dude. So shout out to Babyface Ray. Next album, Pusha T, is Almost Dry. This album is a lot of people's favorite album, favorite rap album, I'll say, in the hip-hop community. You know what I'm saying? This ain't no popular opinion. It just, if you want to call it internet or, like I said, the hip-hop community, a lot of people love this Pusha T is Almost Dry album. It is a good album, but it just hasn't been something I've kept in rotation throughout the entire year. Like, it made my midway list. But since July, August, I do go back to it, but like I said, just didn't crack my top 10. But overall, Pusha T is Almost Dry is a very, very high on a lot of people's list this year. So if you haven't, check that out. Westside Gunn, Peace Fly God. Y'all know with these lists, somebody from Griselda is going to be on my list. You know what I'm saying? Just a quick spoiler alert. When I go through these albums, it's going to be some names y'all see here that Tyler always talk about. So y'all know how that goes. But Westside Gunn, Peace Fly God, great body of work. Another album that just dropped recently, Currency, the Drive-In Theater 2. Man, this album, and I didn't talk about it on the podcast, Currency, Drive-In Theater Part 2, but it's another one of those Currency's instant classic amongst his fan base, in my opinion. He throw those out here and there, like y'all always say, like when Alchemist and Harry Fraud, when he get with those certain producers, you're going to expect probably a classic body of work. But Drive-In Theater Part 2, various producers, various features, but in terms of the music, it reminds me of the Currency that people have. If you ask somebody, yo, what's your favorite top 5 Currency albums, whatever, Currency mixtapes, whatever you want to call it, in that 3 to 5 range, because if you ask somebody, they're going to say Cigarette Boats, Covert Coupe, you know what I'm saying? Those two probably in a lot of people's top 3, I'll say, if I'm just making a guess. But it's when you talk about those Priest Andretti's, those Weekend at Bernie's, the First Pilot Talk, the Drive-In Theater Part 1, you know what I'm saying? When you talk about that, Verde Terrors, when you talk about that Currency, what's another one that I was just listening to the other day? Not one of the old mixtapes. Even the old mixtapes, it brings you back to that lane of Currency where, okay, this is for the people who really rock with Spitter outside of the obvious projects that people always talk about. It's when you're really a fan of him, you really know his albums, his projects, his mixtapes. This is what that project, Drive-In Theater Part 2, reminds me of. A lot of records, it's like, damn, this sounds like some shit he used to rap on, you know what I'm saying, 2013, 2014. So it was very like a nostalgic feel for me, being a Currency fan. Drive-In Theater Part 2 just came out, I want to say a month and a half ago, I'll say, but it's been on constant repeat, like 20-something songs, too. It's been a minute since Currency dropped like a 20-something song project, so that was dope. So definitely, Currency Drive-In Theater Part 2. Next, R&B World, Ari Lennox, Age Sets Location. It took me a minute. This was my toughest album to put in my honorable mention because I do love that Ari Lennox album. It's in my R&B, definitely my R&B top 5 of the year, but in terms of overall albums, I had to put it in my honorable mention, but Age Sets Location, Ari Lennox, great project. Still play it to this day. Number 6, Boldy James, Mr. 1008. And here we go. Boldy James, 2022, my MVP for the year. Boldy James, my MVP of the year. Mr. 1008 project, No Robberies project with Nicholas Craven. He just dropped another project last week, and he got another project he dropped this year. But Boldy James, he got my verse of the year with No Yeast with Currency, and he my MVP, man. Bruh just been dropping constantly. I'm glad to see his work ethic really showed this year because last year, before he dropped those projects with Alchemist, I was like, damn, man, just watching his Instagram, it's like, damn, he Boldy seemed like he not focused. But this year, bruh definitely came out focused, and he been providing, he been dropping constantly, and it all been fire, in my opinion. So Boldy James, 2022 MVP in my eyes. You know what I'm saying? That's my MVP. He got my verse of the year. And this project, Mr. 1008, Definitely one of the projects I've been listening to throughout the year. Back in R&B world, we got Giveon, Give or Take. R&B world, been very, very quiet about this album, in my opinion, but Giveon, Give or Take, it's a great album. And it's my first Giveon album that I really enjoyed all the way through. I talked about it earlier this year. I don't know if it's the production or what, but with his voice, it's very like, it's an acquired taste, his voice. But this album, I think he finally got it to where, okay, at least I rock with this album. I can't talk about the one that everybody loved, the album that he dropped that everybody loved, but this Give or Take that he dropped this year, definitely something I go back to. Staying in R&B world, we got Kenyon Dixon, Closer. This album, when I first talked about it, I said, yo, the album cover made me want to listen to the album, and I enjoyed the album. Kenyon Dixon, Closer. Number 9, Action Bronson, Coco Drill Turbo. Action Bronson, he been providing throughout the years, and this Coco Drill Turbo is something I go back to like spontaneously. Like if I see it on my list, I'm like, oh, let me listen to Action. I'm in the Action Bronson type of mood. Give me the point A to point B, back to point A. It's just been in rotation, just one of the ones like I sleep on, but when I see it, I press play. And to round up my honorable mention, taking it back to Puerto Rico. Shout out to my Puerto Rico people, man. I was in Puerto Rico throughout the summer. April. Yeah, I was up there in April. No, May. Yeah, I was in Puerto Rico in May. Liano El Cambio. What's the best way I can explain this album? The reason I got this album on my list, and another spoiler, I got the Bad Bunny album on my top 10 list. I was Puerto Rican for half the summer, so I was listening to a lot of reggaeton music, so I'm sorry. Oh, we got a call. All right, where was I at? Oh, yeah. I was Puerto Rican half of the summer, so I've been listening to a lot of reggaeton music, so that's I got Liano El Calbino in my top 10. So that was my honorable mention. Like I said, I'm going to post them. That was my honorable mention. Now, let's get to my official top 10 list. They're not in order outside of my favorite album of the year. My personal favorite album of the year, I got to give it to Freddie Gibbs, Soul Separately. That's my personal favorite album of the year. In terms of my MVP of the year, I got Bodie James. So just to get that out the way. Album of the year, Freddie Gibbs, Soul Separately. My MVP of the year, Bodie James. So now let's get to the official list. Like I said, Freddie Gibbs, Soul Separately. That's my favorite album of the year. Next project. Oh, no, let's talk about the Freddie Gibbs album real quick. Why it's my favorite album of the year. Just in totality. Everything from production to the content, Freddie rapping his ass off, like I said before, when this album first came out. Just everything. Replay value, of course. You know what I'm saying? Just an overall great album for me. I was glad to see that Gibbs dropped this album. It was his quote-unquote first label album, I think, something like that, and it didn't sound different. It wasn't like he switched up. The content was still there. Production was, you know what I'm saying, tolerable. Everything into this album, I just enjoyed all the way through. So shout out to Freddie Gibbs. That's my favorite album of the year. So Separately. Next album, I got The Currency and Alchemist Continuous. And like I just said before, Bodie James, No Yeast, that's on this project. The features with Wiz, Styles P, Havoc, everything. Currency and Alchemist just don't miss. So, you know what I'm saying? I got them on there. Westside Gun, 10. I had to pick between 10 and Peace Fly God. 10 made the cut. And I'm going to say this to Westside. And it's just all fun and jokes, you know what I'm saying? But I did tweet and I posted the video when I first talked about this album, 10. I was like, yo, Westside need to drop some visuals for this album. Not to say that he saw that tweet and just be like, hey, people want me to do visuals, let me do visuals. But since that tweet, bruh has been dropping way more visuals than he's probably ever dropped for a project. He dropped one for the him and Doughboy track, which I didn't like that song at first when I heard it, but the video makes up for it. As a listener of Westside Gun, you like, okay, this is a different beat, but shit, they in Blue Flame, they had Waffle House. The video made up for the song, in my opinion. He did the track with Black Star, with Mos Def and Talib Kweli. He did a video for that. He did a video for the Pete Rock song. He did the video for the song with him and Westside Pootie. So he been dropping visuals for this project, and I didn't see visuals before I tweeted him. So shout out to Westside Gun. If he did see that tweet and decided to run with it, who knows? But, it's fourth rope. He's into wrestling, so y'all know I bump with Westside. I rock Westside heavy, so I'm just throwing that out there. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give myself some credit for that one. You know what I'm saying? Bodie James, next project. Bodie James, Fair Exchange, No Robbery. My MVP of the year, and this album right here was the one that I think he really got locked in with Nicholas Craven. That Fair Exchange, No Robbery, man. I had people texting me about this project. It was like, hey, bro, you heard this? I'm like, bro, it's Bodie James. You know I heard it. Like, hey, bro, I didn't know your boy be sliding like that. I said, bro, Bodie James be sliding, man. Bodie James be sliding, bro. And I'm glad he locked in, like I said before, man. Bodie James, Fair Exchange, No Robbery. Next project, Young Nudy, EA Monster. EA Monster, probably my favorite album from the South from this year. The South been kind of quiet in terms of, that's a hot take I just said, huh? The South been quiet. Yeah. In my opinion, bro, the momentum definitely slowed down. All this stuff going on over the weekend in terms of YSL, I'm not no lawyer. I don't want to be in no courthouse. I don't be around no courthouse, so that's why I don't speak on that. But the momentum has definitely slowed. Like, Memphis was up for a minute, but it seems like the Memphis people have kind of calmed down a little bit. So I'm waiting to see. Next year, the South got to get back right, man. Like, I understand we got superstars down here. We got the Futures, the Lil Babies, Travis, you want to count Houston, Kodak Black out of Florida, Rod Wave out of Florida. But in terms of, in totality, looking overall, it doesn't look, you don't think about them and say, damn, the South really, it's like, no, Rod Wave doing Rod Wave, Kodak doing Kodak, Travis doing Travis, Moneybagg Yo doing Moneybagg Yo. It's like the cohesiveness and the collaborations don't seem as strong as it used to be. And, everybody up. You know what I'm saying? Everybody up. We having a lot of tragic news happening throughout the past couple of years, especially this year. So I'm interested to see next year how the South responds, because I'm not the only person saying that. You know what I'm saying? Definitely in terms of Atlanta, I'm definitely not the only person that's saying, it seems like the momentum kind of slowing down in my opinion. But, you know what I'm saying? We'll talk about that for another time. But back to it. Shout out to Young Nudy, EA Monster. That's been on repeat. Joey Badass, 2000. I said it when it first came out. I said, the replay value on this album is kind of different. Like, he done snuck out a very, very great project with replay value. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Joey Badass. Kendrick Lamar, Mr. Morale, Bitch Steppers. I said it time and time again. I think I said it when the album first came out. It's a Kendrick Lamar album, but it's definitely an album that I listen to. It's kind of in the same realm as Pimp a Butterfly. When I listen to it, it's at the time I need to listen to it. It's not like I just wake up like, let me play Mr. Morale, Bitch Stuff. It's like, nah, this is an album that I got on a good Sunday or a good, just calm down period when you want to hear some shit. I put on that Kendrick Lamar, Mr. Morale, Bitch Steppers. But when you get to the Rich Spirit, the Worldwide Steppers, the track with him and Summer Walker and Ghostface, when you get to those records, you're reminded, like, okay, this is still a very, very strong album. No matter the content, no matter, you got to pick the right time and place to hear it. When you get to those jams, and you quickly reminded, hey, bro, don't get it twisted. Like, it's still Kendrick. So shout out to Kendrick Lamar. Number 8, Bad Bunny. El Verano Sin Ti, Bad Bunny. I was Puerto Rican half of the summer, so I got Bad Bunny. I'm mad I missed his concert. I'm mad I missed Bad Bunny concert, and I'm mad I missed the Daddy Yankee concert. Because I know they was in there. You can't, you cannot tell me they wasn't in Bad Bunny and Daddy Yankee concert. I know they was in there, so yeah, Bad Bunny, he's still the king of everything at this point. He's probably the top artist in the world. You know what I'm saying? No matter what genre, Bad Bunny is the guy. I mean, if you haven't already, just press play and let the shit go, and you don't got to understand what he's saying. Just know when people hear it, they jam into it. Number 9 and number 10, we're going to end it on the R&B note. Alice Isley at number 9, Marigold. Very, very strong R&B project. I tell y'all, if you want to get hipped on Alice Isley, listen to this album, Marigold, or listen to that song Good and Plenty. Alice Isley is amazing, very underrated. I don't see this album on a lot of R&B lists so far. When people putting out their favorite R&B albums this year, I'm not seeing enough of Alice Isley and Marigold on there. So it's on my list, though. Shout out to Alice Isley. Number 10, roundabout, another R&B project, Lucky Day, Candy Drip. I've been talking about this album since it dropped. I've been talking about that Candy Drip album since it dropped. Lucky Day. Replay value, great songs for when you're supposed to play it. All around, great album. So, once again, this is my list. Let's start back with my honorable mention. We got Babyface Ray, Face Project. We got Pusha T, It's Almost Dry. We got Westside Gun, Peace Fly God. We got Currency, Drive-In Theater, Part 2. We got Ari Lennox, Aid Sets Location. We got Bodie James, Mr. 1008. We got Giveon, Give or Take. Kenyon Dixon, Closer. Action Bronson, Coco Drio Turbo. Liano, El Cambillo. And for my favorite top 10 albums of the year, we got Freddie Gibbs, Soul Separately, Currency, and Alchemist Continuous. Westside Gun 10, Bodie James, Fair Exchange, No Robbery, Young Nudie, EA Monster, Joey Badass 2000, Kendrick Lamar, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, Bad Bunny, Un Verano Cinti. Shout out to Bad Bunny, man. Alice Isley, Marigold, and Lucky Day, Candy Drip. And once again, my favorite album of the year, Freddie Gibbs, Soul Separately, and my MVP of the year, my guy from Detroit, man, Bodie James. So that's my favorite albums of the year. Like I said, I'm going to post these on my social media accounts. I want to hear back from y'all. What's been y'all favorite albums of the year? What y'all been having in rotation? If I slept on any albums y'all think of this year, let me know. If y'all got anybody I need to listen to, let me know. 2023, if I had to say what I'm looking forward to, like I said I want the South to come back, you know what I'm saying, get that momentum back again like we had before. But in terms of who I want to drop, of course I got Travis Scott. I want that Utopia. I want Black to drop. That's what I'm looking for in R&B world. I'm ready for that Larry June Alchemist, of course. Y'all know I've been talking about that. I'm ready for that Larry June Alchemist, of course. And honestly, those like the only three I can say I'm looking forward to in terms of, like, if they drop all in January, I'll be straight, and everything else for the rest of the year just be bonus. Like, if I'm in terms of who I'm waiting to drop, those three, Travis Scott, Black, and the Larry June Alchemist, and everybody else will just be a plus. You know what I'm saying? I know my people gonna drop. I know Currency gonna drop. I know Larry June gonna drop. I know Griselda gonna drop. You know what I'm saying? In terms of R&B world, I like for they to drop. Like I said, Black. Who else in R&B? Who I haven't heard from? That's why I be thinking when I be like, yo, I want this person to drop next year. I'm thinking about who didn't drop within the past 2-3 years. You know what I'm saying? Party dropped in 2020. Party Next Door been outside doing shows, and he ain't dropped no tour dates. Now, he been doing like colleges, and I don't, you know what I'm saying? Do what you do, get your money, but whenever Party Next Door announce a tour, that's what I'm waiting on more than the music from him. I'd rather have a Party Next Door tour than a new album. Or both, shit, if you want to. But, yeah, man, that's my end of the year wrap-up. Like I said, next week, Ohio State, Georgia prediction. Coming here all business. All business. And I got some stuff lined up for 2023 as well. So, y'all be tuned in for that. Once again, this has been episode 193, Stash House Podcast. Make sure you guys go out. Have a great work week, great school week. Do what y'all do, man. Shout out to the kids getting through the first semester of school. Shout out to all the college grads, people getting their bachelors, associates, masters, doctors, whatever it is, man. Continue to succeed. Shout out to everybody getting that check, man. Go home to your family, man. Be safe out here. Be aware of your surroundings. Drink plenty of water. Stay warm. Do what y'all do, man. Keep me in your prayers. I do the same for y'all. Salute.